This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
Our top stories. The power sector is making headlines as NERC Faults Enugu State electricity over tariff court. And 31 million Nigerians face acute food security. This and more stories on PSN Newsrun. And we begin with NERC faulting Enugu State electricity regulator for slashing tariffs on grid-supplied power, warning the move threatens national market stability. Joycelyn will take us on this power sector challenges.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has declared that the Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission, EERC, lacks the legal authority to alter electricity tariffs for power sourced from the national grid. The statement follows the EERC's recent directive reducing tariffs for Band A customers under Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited from the national average to 160 naira 40 kobo per kilowatt an hour. The new tariff assumes a 66 naira 85 kobo subsidy, cutting the average generation tariff from 112 naira 60 kobo to 45 naira 75 kobo per kilowatt hour. NERC stated that although the 2023 Electricity Act grants states regulatory power over electricity within their jurisdiction, such powers do not extend to federal assets or the national grid. NERC emphasized that states must incorporate the full wholesale cost of grid-supplied electricity in their local tariffs or provide direct subsidies to cover any shortfalls. The tariff reduction by EERC has triggered concerns across the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NERC, with stakeholders warning that the move could distort market dynamics, threaten cost recovery, and expose the national electricity market to financial instability. The Commission cited 34(1) of the Electricity Act, which mandates NERC to ensure the integrity of the electricity market and the efficient use of national resources. It added that allowing state-level price quotes on national supply lines could undermine the financial structure of generation, transmission, and legacy financing obligations. NERC is currently engaging EERC to address what it described as possible misinterpretation of the law. However, the federal regulator reaffirms its commitment to maintaining a cost-reflective market and hinted at possible consequences for any actions that compromise national electricity market stability. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
Still on power, a suspected vandal was electrocuted while attempting to sabotage a high-voltage transmission tower in Ebonyi State, highlighting a growing wave of power infrastructure attacks threatening Nigeria's electricity supply. Joycelyn analyzes the rate of vandalism and its effect on the power sector in this report.
A vandal was electrocuted while attempting to tamper with a high-voltage transmission tower in Ebonyi State. The incident occurred on July 19th along the Nkalagu-Abakaliki 132 kV transmission line, according to a statement by the Transmission Company of Nigeria. This marks yet another case in a growing trend of power infrastructure vandalism across the country. Despite repeated warnings, the attacks persist, often carried out in broad daylight and with little fear of consequences. Analysts say one reason for the rising frequency of these acts is the absence of strong deterrents. Vandals are rarely caught or prosecuted, and communities sometimes turn a blind eye, either out of fear or frustration over irregular power supply. In some cases, scrap dealers encourage the crime by purchasing stolen components from towers, substations, or power lines. But the consequences are severe. Each act of vandalism disrupts the transmission of electricity across regions, plunging homes, hospitals, and businesses into darkness. It also places enormous financial pressure on the power sector, already burdened by underinvestment and technical losses. This latest incident underscores a troubling reality. Power infrastructure in Nigeria is still widely unprotected and undervalued. With energy demand rising and the national grid under strain, every broken tower or line pushes the country further from stable power. TCN is urging the public to treat these assets as national property and to report suspicious activity, but without stronger enforcement, stiffer penalties, and greater community engagement, the cycle of sabotage and blackout may continue. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
As humanitarian funding dries up, nearly 31 million Nigerians now face acute food insecurity, with the World Food Programme warning of devastating consequences if urgent action isn't taken. Let's hear Marianne out on this report.
Nigeria is facing its worst hunger crisis in recent history, with nearly 31 million people experiencing acute food insecurity. The warning comes from the World Food Programme, which says funding shortfalls are putting millions, especially children, displaced persons, and rural families, in risks of starvation. The crisis is more severe in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states, where conflict and insurgents have displaced millions. But the effects are now spreading to the northwest, middle belt, and parts of the south, as rising inflation, flooding, banditry, and farmers-headed clashes continues to disrupt food production and supply chains. If insecurity continues unchecked, more communities will be cut off from farming, trade routes will remain unsafe, and food prices will continue to skyrocket, pushing vulnerable families even deeper into poverty. The situation could also worsen migration trends as people flee hunger-stricken regions in search for food, safety, and work. Humanitarian support groups warn that if funding dries up completely, food assistance programs for internally displaced persons, children, and pregnant women may halting, leaving over 800,000 people in immediate danger of malnutrition and death. Economically, the ripple effect could be devastating. A full-blown food crisis would rise inflation, slow agricultural outputs, increase health costs, and place additional pressure on the overstretched government resources. It could also discourage private sector's investment in farming and food logistics. The World Food Programme is calling for urgent donor support, but without improved security and sustained interventions, Nigeria may be heading towards a deepening humanitarian catastrophe. Marianne Awuya, PS News.
The World Health Organization has raised a global alert over the resurgence of chikungunya, a mosquito-borne virus now spreading rapidly across Europe due to rising temperatures and expanding mosquito habitats. Ella is on the international desk.
The World Health Organization has issued a global alert following a major resurgence of chikungunya, a mosquito-borne virus now spreading rapidly across parts of Europe, driven by rising temperatures and shifting mosquito habitats. Chikungunya, which originated in Africa and Asia, is transmitted through the Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes, the same carriers responsible for dengue and Zika viruses. It causes high fever, severe joint pain, muscle aches, headaches, and skin rashes. While rarely fatal, the joint pain can last for weeks or even months, often resembling arthritis. The resurgence is being fueled by climate change, which is expanding the breeding zones for those mosquitoes into previously unaffected regions. Countries in Southern and Central Europe are now reporting cases, and the WHO says the virus could spread further without urgent action. To protect yourself, Avoid mosquito bites, especially during the day. Use insect repellent, wear long sleeves and pants, and sleep under mosquito nets if necessary. Communities are also being urged to eliminate stagnant water sources where mosquitoes breed. Experts warn that without coordinated global surveillance, public education, and aggressive vector control measures, chikungunya could evolve into a full-blown epidemic, especially in vulnerable areas with poor health infrastructure. The WHO is calling on countries to ramp up mosquito control programs, invest in early warning systems, and prepare health workers to recognize and treat the disease. As with most mosquito-borne illnesses, prevention remains the strongest line of defense. Ella Okechukwu, PS News.
Here's your quick sports news roundup from Super Falcons' bonus boost to Hulk Hogan's passing and Nigeria's F1 Grand Prix bid.
The Nigerian government has given a significant boost to the Super Falcons ahead of their final match against Morocco in the 2025 Women's African Cup of Nations. President Bola Tinubu has approved the full payment of allowances and match bonuses for the team, according to Shehu Diko, chairman of the National Sport Commission. This gesture is expected to motivate the team as they face off against Morocco in the WAFCON final. The government support extends beyond the Super Falcons, with Diko confirming that Nigeria's women's basketball team, the Tigers, will also receive improved allowances and bonuses. Tragedy has struck the world of professional wrestling with the news of Hulk Hogan's passing at the age of 71. Hogan, born Terry Bollea, was a household name in the world of professional wrestling, known for his charisma, larger-than-life persona, and family-friendly appeal. He became the face of WWE in the 1980s, drawing in millions of fans worldwide. Hogan's legacy has been recognized with 2 WWE Hall of Fame inductions. Nigeria has officially declared its interest in hosting a Formula One Grand Prix, a move that could mark a significant milestone in the country's sports and economic development. The National Sport Commission has appointed Opus Racing Promotion as its representative for the bid, with Abuja as the proposed venue. According to Shehu Diko, the NSC chairman, the bid is not just about hosting a sporting event, but about leveraging the opportunity to drive tourism, infrastructure development, youth engagement, and economic growth. This is Samuel Akban for PS News.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.